Uh-oh. Hang tight. Hang tight, peoples. I got to fix my mic. Got to fix the old microphone. Hang tight. Ho, ho, ho. Go. What is good, everybody? I got to get Facebook connected real fast. Your boy's probably going solo tonight for fun because I miss you guys. And it looks like we're good. Welcome in, everybody. This is a special edition episode, a Christmas edition of the Mile High Huddle podcast. I'm your host. I know you might think it's Santa Claus in the flesh. Actually, it's just me. It's your boy, Chad Jensen. Probably going solo tonight. I got to take this one. Probably going solo. But you know what, dag nabbit? I'm gonna rock the hat. I'm gonna stay festive. Nah, I'm not gonna rock the hat. It was fun. It was fun while it lasted. What you guys doing? What Santa Claus bring you? Santa Claus bring you anything cool? I know one thing really cool that Santa Claus brought all of us, and I view it as a harbinger. This gift from Santa Claus. Can you guess? What's up, Papa Bear? Early super chat. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Merry Christmas, he says. Broncos country. Hashtag 10 and 7 plus. That's right. And on that note, Christmas, the Broncos had a nice little development yesterday because, of course, it's a Saturday game. So instead of the work week, the prep week starting today on a Wednesday, they started it on Tuesday. So they'll practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday will be their Saturday, and then they'll play Saturday will be their Sunday, right, against the Bengals. So Tuesday was the first full practice, monitoring that report. Bada bing, bada bang. Guess who was full? Guess who was full? Riley Moss is back, y'all. Full participant. Cut to today, all right? Also full participant. So he's back. It's official. Riley Moss. Mr. Producer, I didn't inform you of the stream for a reason, bro. I'm trying to get you not to work on a holiday. Scott's like, oh, I saw a notification. What's going on here? I got to get in. You missed the whole Santa giddy up. You can go back on replay and relive that. Live vicariously through your boy. But anyway, Riley Moss is back, guys. And what does that mean? Well, I guess we got to back up a little bit. Even before the full effect, the full news that Moss was back hit the wire, the Broncos made a roster move. A couple, actually, 2, 3. So let me tell you what transpired. And honestly, guys, if there wasn't some real news to talk about, I'd still be going live just because, I love you guys. I miss you. But fortunately for us, there's some real news happening. So before the news of Moss broke, the Broncos, first of all, waived cornerback Levi Wallace. So that was the first harbinger. You're going, okay, if they're cutting bait with Levi, that must mean good things for Riley Moss. Well, that's exactly what happened. And they promoted Blake Watson from the practice squad officially to the 53. Then one more thing. We got a question about this. I want to say it was from Phil, if I remember right, on our last stream. So what was that? That would have been Monday night. Hey, what about Tyler Bidet? Is there any chance? And I shot it down. I'm like, look, that was a serious thing. I don't know, man. And I haven't heard anything about it. Lo and behold, they started the clock on Tyler Bidet returning, running back. What was that? The Jets game. So week 4 is when he got injured. That's the last we've seen hide nor hair of Tyler Bidet. They started the clock. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to play on Saturday against the Bengals, but they're getting him ready in the event that, they're going to plan and play as if their season's going to continue. So he'll be ready in the event that they make the playoffs. And maybe you'll see him week 17. Time will tell. But with that being said, yeah, Riley Moss is back. It sounds like, according to Sean Payton, if Levi Wallace passes through waivers unclaimed, they are going to sign him to the practice squad because promoting Blake Watson gives him a spot opening. Let me look, and so they'll keep him around. It sounds like that's the hope, but time will tell. Pro 16, what's up, buddy? Merry Christmas. If Denver wins out, they can still get the 5th or 6th seed with one Chargers loss, and the Steelers lose their last game. I know it's a long shot, but anything's possible in the NFL. Go Bo. Was it week 3? No, week 3 was Tampa. Trust. Mr. Producer, always trying to make sure he's delivering the correct information because he has to cover for my ass a lot. He has to be like, no, dude, this. You said X, it's Z. You know, a lot of stuff you guys don't always see behind the scenes, but every once in a while I'll cover his. You know what I'm saying? It's reciprocal. But yeah, so the today's games kind of cool. You had like specific middle of the week NFL games on Christmas, as opposed to Christmas just happens to be on a Sunday, so you're getting NFL. You saw the Steelers lose to the Chiefs, and you saw the Ravens utterly humiliate the Houston Texans, for the most part anyway. So that kind of shifts things up in the seeding. We'll see how that ultimately resolves. It's looking like Baltimore, you know, that whole AFC North thing, but I don't even care, Pro 16, if it's the 6, the 5, the 7. I just want, seriously, get in the playoffs, snap this ignominious streak. Yeah, that's right. He wasn't active. Bidet, all of the first 4. What's going on? We got MBLEX test prep. Happy Christmas, Santa Chad. That's me. That's me, your boy. It's like the Kink song, you know, Father Christmas. I'm trying to remember. When I was young, I believed in Santa Claus, though I knew it was my dad. I am a Santa Claus in real life, just to a very select swath of humanity. Yes, we gave the props and the Merry Christmas to the Papa Bear. But Yeti in the Mist, what's good, bro? Thank you for throwing down a super on Christmas. I appreciate it, buddy. He says, we need this dub or else the Chiefs will be licking their chops to bounce us from the playoffs. Merry Christmas. I don't think so. I think they'll give up the ghost. I think they'll say, here you go, boys. You know, but I don't know. I've seen, look, Carson Wentz, I've seen him. We all know what his recent canon in the NFL looks like, right? It's not good. His last bite at the apple as a starter went poorly for him. But I'm old enough to remember what he can do to the Broncos. What was that? 17? Wasn't it 17 the Eagles won the Super Bowl? Pretty sure. And that was the year he was delivering a MVP caliber season. It was his second year, I want to say. And remember, Brock Osweiler had come back, tail between his legs, to the Broncos. And we went and faced the Philadelphia Eagles in their house, and it was a shellacking, dude. Now, different time, different place, different player, different players, different coaches, sure. But I'm not sleeping utterly on that possibility. But yeah, the Chiefs are going to be resting starters. They have no reason to put Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, their key guys out there against a hungry and possibly, especially if it's a still motivated Broncos. But even if they beat the Bengals on Saturday, which I expect them to, all right? I expect them to find a way to come out on top. And I'm going to share with you something Bo Nix said yesterday that gives me a lot more, even more confidence, I should say. But even if they win and they defeat the Bengals on the road, they're going to be modest underdogs. They're going to be, as it was mentioned by who was it? Our Pro 16K. There's going to be seeding involved. So the Chiefs, they're going to get the Broncos' best shot regardless. You don't want Patrick Mahomes out there and your other studs on a highly motivated first-ranked pass rush and all that. No. So I was actually, that's why, if you recall, Monday I was like, hey, I'm actually kind of a Chiefs fan this week. I want the Chiefs to win so that they can, it's selfish. It might sound a little weak, but hey, go ahead and take the foot off the gas. You know what I'm saying? Let me see here. Yeah, 2017 Eagles. And of course, Carson Wentz would go on to break his leg, and Nick Foles took him the distance. That was such a magical season for Eagles fans. Boy, oh boy. But yes, I'm excited. Let me say some other hellos here. Rodney Garcia, what's good? Merry Christmas, bro. I don't know. Look, I'll speak for myself a little. I don't think my wife can hear me when I say this, but by the time you get to like 6 p.m. on Christmas Day, it's been a wonderful day. You got up early, especially if you have kids, right? Uh, and by kids, I mean kids under 18. You open the presents. It's so fun. You get to see the magic of Christmas morning, even for kids that might be old enough, maybe they don't believe in Santa Claus anymore. It doesn't matter. There's a magic to Christmas morning, right? Get to experience that, hang out, maybe eat a little food. In my case, work is 365. So I'm gonna be writing articles, editing articles. But by the time you get to 6 p.m., I could use a little escape. Go talk to my friends in the MHH crew. You know what I mean? So hopefully that's how you guys feel. Pearl, what's up? Who else we got here? Uh, yeah, that's right, dude. No. It's like this. I can lie to myself, pal. Check me out. I can be a monk. I can be Santa monk. Check me out. Um, Appreciate you being with us, Jason. Thomas Boyd, what's good, brother? Happy holidays to y'all in Broncos country. Steven. Now this is a Christmas present, brother. I got a signed Bo Nix football today. Really cool. Whoever gave you that obviously loves you. Robot of Doom, Santa. Oh, it's Chad. Merry Christmas, Captain, and MHH fan. Bittersweet Xmas watching KC win. But semi helps us. Our enemy is our friend. Therefore, they are our friend. That's our enemy. Anyway, Merry Christmas. Exactly. It kind of can get confusing. But hey, that's where we're at this late into the season. Um, you start looking at seedings and tiebreakers and scenarios and situations, and you want the chips to fall in the best possible way. Monica, what's up? Roy Osborne, what's going on, big dog? Uh, yeah, love you too, Pearl. Right back at you, darling. Rodney, what do you think of the Chiefs? The Chiefs, man. Look, I watched most of the game. Wiltstein was kind of working a little bit and putting up some content and doing my thing. So I just saw once again a Chiefs team that is stingy as hell, surprisingly good on defense, and in the critical situations, and I'm not just talking end of game, I'm talking third down, red zone on both sides of the ball, and end of half, end of game sequences, all of that. Situationally, there is not a better team in the league right now that just takes it up those additional however many notches and out executes you, out thinks you, out coaches you, out executes you when the chips are down. And of course, there's always exceptions that prove the rule. I mean, the Broncos almost made them an exception, but it turned out to be the Chiefs getting the last laugh because, hey, we caught a little thing that, like Easy E, right? Boys in the Hood, NWA, all that. You ever been caught slipping? Easy E says, hell no. Alex Forsyth says, yeah, at Arrowhead, they got me. And, the Broncos just slipped on a banana there, but the Chiefs snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. So there are exceptions. You almost had them, but my point is they are fallible. Patrick Mahomes is as good as it gets in the league. I still don't understand how and why Travis Kelce is allowed to just like continue racking up yardage. Like cover him. Why is it? And Scott, you got to help me understand this, dude. Why is it that only guys like Bill Belichick have the cashews to just say, no, Talib, you're on Jimmy Graham, and just take him out of the game? The game plan and the scheme is so sacrosanct that you're going to step over $1 to pick up a dime. You're going to sacrifice the star getting the ball on the reg because you wanted to run a specific scheme. Nah, dude, you got to figure out that matchup because, I mean, they have gotten a little better, in my opinion, offensively. The Chiefs, as the season has marched along, and they've got some guys there. I mean, Worthy, you can't ever sleep. I mean, Hopkins didn't do much today, but like Hopkins and Smith-Schuster, can't sleep on them. You never know. They are veterans. They're savvy. So They're going to be a handful, whoever gets to face them, obviously, but we don't, in the playoffs, that is, we don't want them winning another Super Bowl. Not only because we don't want the Chiefs of all teams to become the first three-peater in the NFL, but we don't want them to move ahead of us in the total number of Lombardis in the war chest. That's not good. I'm not here for that. Phil, what's good, bro? Merry Christmas, Chad and Deacon Scott. Yep, he's in the house. Bidet is active. Wallace is gone. Running game must improve this Saturday. MHH for life, Broncos for life. Go Broncos. Well, he's not active yet. They started his clock on his return from injured reserve. So they're getting him out there. He can practice under the strictures of the clock starting auspices of that NFL rule. And at any point, the Broncos can choose to go ahead and actually activate him back onto the 53. Of course, there has to be a spot available for him to take on the 53. So when that time comes, you'll see another roster move. But they have, I think it's a 3-week window, Scott, 21 days, I want to say, that they can let him practice, get his game legs back beneath him. I mean, you got to remember, we're talking early October is when he went down. So, it's been a minute. You're talking 2.5 months since he's done anything. So I wouldn't expect to see him this week for sure. There's a possibility you'll see him against the Chiefs, though. 21 days. And so they have 21 days. And in that 21 days, you either put him on the 53 or you got to put him back to injured reserve, or you can cut him. You can cut him, etc. What's this from Pearl? What? Your hubby broke 4 ribs. What happened? He must have fell. I'm sorry to hear that, Pearl. We'll put your family in our thoughts and prayers for sure. That's no fun on Christmas. And it's just so weird, man, how a lot of things culminate and happen during the holiday season in terms of health. Isn't that weird? I don't know what it is about it. There's a lot of theories, but I'll speak for myself. In my family, I've had multiple, and this year has actually been one of the worst family injuries / medical emergencies / falls, things like that. I've had multiple in my family anyway over my life. I mean, I'm 45. I've had multiple deaths in the family during the holidays, stuff like that. Why does it seem to be so much more prevalent? I don't know. Maybe it's a false perception, but George, anyway, Pearl, we're going to keep your family in our thoughts and prayers. So sorry to hear about that. George says, hope you and the gang had a great Christmas. Now we get to get this win. Merry Christmas to all Broncos fans. Broncos for life, MHH for life. Hit the thumbs up, guys. Yeah, if you want to do your boy a solid, hit the little thumbs up. It's a little thing that helps out. And Phil saying, hey, Merry Christmas to all. Ryan, that's a unique spelling. If it is Ryan, could it be Ryan? What do you think? I mean, Scott would know about the unique spellings and usages of the name. Rain. I got to say it's Rain, which is also unique spelling if it's, going to sound like rain. Merry Christmas right back at you, with Bidet being a full practice all week. Which running backs get a jersey on Saturday? So I'll tell you right now, I'm looking at the Broncos practice report that they sent to MHH today. You have Bidet full yesterday, full today. Troy Franklin, full. Jaleel McLaughlin started the week yesterday, limited. I was like, oh no, but he was full today, so that means he's good. And then of course Riley Moss full. But there is a Rubicon that has to be crossed, as I was talking about earlier, Rain, before we could really answer this, which is the Broncos would have to actually activate him. Now, I don't have the roster right in front of me, but I'm pretty sure they are at 53. They don't have a spot just chilling. They promoted Blake Watson after they waived Levi Wallace. So they might drag their heels on that, give them a week, figure out what they want to do. Someone's going to have to go, in other words, to put Bidet back on the 53. So here's what I predict. It's going to be Javonte, it's going to be Jalil, and it's going to be Audric. And I think they signed Watson to the 53 in the event that Jalil had maybe a setback or didn't progress this week, because you're probably not going to roll with 4 active RBs on game day. So anyway, that's my answer for you. Ask me again after the Bengals game. Maybe we'll get some updates on Bidet. So good question though, pal. Okay, let me see. What am I doing? I'm at 20 minutes. I'm okay. I'm feeling it. I'm going to take a second here. I'm going to come out of the chat. Oh, Merry Christmas, James from Marion, Ohio. Really cool. Really cool. I want to hear where you guys are. Drop me Merry Christmas from blank. Monica Raposo, do we know the weather on game day? Let's do an updated. Let me do Cincinnati weather forecast weekend. So last I looked, and Luke had an article for us on this, covering it a couple days ago, but it was looking like you're going to have 15 to 25 mile an hour winds and like a 60% chance of rain. That was 2 days ago. So going to the Weather Channel, .com or whatever, weather.com, it shows Saturday 61% chance of showers and lesser wind warnings, so like 8 to 10 mile an hour winds. So it's not shaping up. And trust me, I mean, anyone who's been to or lives in the Midwest in January, December, it might not be snowing, but that rain is actually probably more miserable than even the snow. And it's a different kind of cold with that humidity. So it's going to be a football game. It's going to be a rock fight. That's for sure. Scott saying 50s. That's right. Yeah, I guess I forgot to mention the temperature. Yeah, 50s. So, but it'll feel like 30s for people who are used to the higher, the lower humidity, say, of the Rockies, whatnot. The Ronk, good evening, Chad, on the Mile High Huddle podcast. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Right back at you, brother. I hope it's been a great holiday for everybody. Got George. We got George. We're good on him. Let me share you a couple things here. This was kind of cool from Bo Nix yesterday. We got some media availability from Coach Payton, Bo Nix, Pat Surtain, Cortland Sutton. And I'm probably going to write up an article around this and share some additional thoughts here, but on his outlook and mindset and that of the Broncos coming off such a disappointing loss. Really interesting. This is Bo Nix yesterday. Quote, I think it's our ability to not let one loss affect us. I think that's really important, especially in this league. You're going to play. In other words, don't let one team beat us twice. Now, that was kind of I get what he was trying to say there, but it's confusing because they're coming off of a second loss to the Chargers. So what he's meaning is, let's pretend that was the only time they played the Chargers this year, and that's the only time they would play them, and they lost. If you carry that with you, let it continue to bog you down, and you lose in Cincinnati, you're then letting the Chargers beat you twice. That's what he's trying to say. He goes on to say, quote, you're going to play tough games. You're going to lose tough games. It's the response, I think, that's critical, especially for a team like ours who's young. We haven't made it to the playoffs in a while, and we have the ability to. It's all about how we respond from the losses. I think we've been able to do that well this year. Sidebar, I would agree. Back to Bo, we experienced a loss last week. None of us are excited about it, so we are excited to get back on the field. It's kind of that competitive mindset to where you knock us down, but we immediately want to get back up and go another round. That's what we're looking at. We had a great practice today. This was Tuesday. Very focused, very sharp, tough practice. I expect us to respond in a good way, and I know they're going to play good themselves, close quote. And that's a near guarantee. Bengals are desperate, and their desperation is fueled by the not only the demand for perfection, they have to win both of their last 2 games to get in the playoffs, and then they got to get a bunch of help around them. So you're going to get the best shot from the Bengals all year. And especially because as one of the teams currently if the playoffs started, right now, Broncos are in, they're ahead of the Bengals in the seeding. They have no choice in this head-to-head as far as the Bengals are concerned. They got to win. Same goes for the Broncos. They cannot allow this loss. And, hey, people clown on the Broncos saying, hey, they've only beat one team with a winning record this year, which is true, Tampa Bay. Well, guess how many winning teams the Bengals have beaten this year? 0. So, but it kind of, in my opinion, cancels that point cancels out because it's close enough to where, this is kind of interesting. Neither team has really had a lot of success against the better teams this year. They've beaten the teams they were supposed to. I'll keep it with the Broncos. They have for the most part beaten the teams they were supposed to. And if it wasn't for one just completely fluky, freaky, stupid thing against the Chiefs, they would have 2 teams with winning records that they would have defeated. So I think that's going to serve the Broncos. You look at, I'm just going to pull up the schedule real quick as a refresher here. But the Broncos start the season, when he talks about we've already we've proven our mettle, METTLE. We've proven how we can bounce back after a loss in adversity. So you had the first 2 games of the season are losses. Bo Nix, man, school of hard knocks, accelerated on fast forward, right? Then they win 2 in a row, a romping win over Tampa and a rock fight win over New York, the Jets. Then they come home, they stomp the Raiders in Denver, and then they host the Chargers and kind of get knocked off the horse again. They kind of get knocked down a peg or two. Reality check, whatever you want to call it. Then they go back on the road and they take on the Saints in a big kind of emotional storyline game for Sean Payton, and they win that one handily. Then they come home, Panthers, easy win. Then they go on the road once again. They get reality checked. This is their only blowout loss. This is Baltimore 41, Denver 10. And then they bounce back from that loss, guys, with gusto. I mean, they had the Chiefs dead to rights. It was over. One stupid fluke play. So even though that shows 2 losses in a row, Baltimore, Kansas City, think about it. That game in their house where it came down to requiring one of the freakiest, flukiest things possible to have happened in order for the Chiefs to escape that. The Broncos showed you there they can bounce back. They bounced back big in that Tampa game after 2 straight losses. All right, then we march ahead. Falcons, victory. Raiders, victory. Browns, victory. Colts, victory. 4 in a row. That's not easy to do in the league. And then they take a step back, another reality check against the Chargers, 2 games to go. So I see it more as, was it a reality check? Maybe. It was more to me of a gut check. And we're going to find out a lot more about Bo Nix, about this new, we've been hearing the trope from Sean Payton all year that there's just something different about this team. If this was last year's team, we would have lost this game. We would have lost that game. Well, we're about to find out the truth of that. How true is it? Because the Bengals are not a 7-win team. I mean, in fact, they are. Trust, I know. But this is more of this is a 9-10 win at this point in the season caliber opponent. So I would view this on a scale of, I'd view this on a scale of you're facing Chiefs, you're facing Bills, you're facing Ravens, you're facing a Texans, you're facing a Chargers, you're facing one of the better AFC clubs, playoff caliber clubs. That's what this game is going to look like, and it will be a rock fight. I can't wait. Steelers. So they did update NFL.com. Let's do some scratch and sniff. Where are we at? We're at 29 minutes. Let's do some scratch and sniff here. This will be fun. So NFL.com, in fact, the very league itself, updates the playoff picture, right, by the game. And then second half of the week for the teams on the bubble / in the hunt, they show you what a win percentage wise. So their current probability to make the playoffs here in the middle, what a win would do for their probability, and then what a loss would do. Okay. So if we look at the Broncos, like we knew earlier this week, they were given a 75% chance of making the playoffs. All right. Because it's not just, win one and you're in. It's even if you don't win, a lot of these teams aren't going to win both games, so they still have a good chance. Now, if they beat the Bengals, how well can you see that, Scott? Is it good enough? If they beat the Bengals, it basically we know they're in. Okay. If they lose, their probability drops to 59% if you're the Broncos. Now let's examine the Bengals. They're currently staring down the barrel of a 7% chance. Guys, even if they win, 12% chance. If they lose, they're out. Okay. Now, if the Bengals were to win, that means a Bronco loss, so that affects things. They would need the Dolphins to lose and the Colts to lose to really kind of flip spots here and go from 10 to 8. Would they? Let me see. Yeah, exactly. And then if the Broncos lost the season finale to the Chiefs too, then you'd probably, and these other two teams lost or whatever. So there's all kinds of different statistical probabilities, but here's your four. Wait a minute, 10-6. Wait, 10-6. Yeah. 11-5. So I'm just looking at the AFC North there, but yeah, that's how things are shaping up. So if you're the Broncos, once again, you don't have to be a freaking mathematician here, right? You don't need to be a statistician. You don't have to be my good friend and awesome colleague Thomas Hall with the, metrics and the statistics and the graphs and this and that. You just got to win one game, 1 out of 2. You don't want to risk it against the defending world champs. You got to get it now against these Bengals who have a terrible, terrible defense. Taylor, Merry Christmas, MHH family. Glad Levi Wallace was cut. Go Denver Broncos. Yeah, it's tough, man. As someone who has actually been fired on Christmas, that happened to me once when I was a young man. College age, not giving my job too serious of my tension. I was probably late and whatever. But I did get fired. It hurts, dude. Now imagine you're a grown man. And I bet there's probably a few of you within the sound of my voice that have had something like that happen, like on a birthday or Christmas or something. So in that sense, I did feel for Levi Wallace. It's a bummer, but they are trying to keep him around in case you missed it, Taylor. If he goes unclaimed, it sounds like they want to bring him back on the practice squad. So it might not be the last we've seen of Levi for what it's worth. Keep an eye on that. Okay, let me go back to the chat here. We'll start winding it down. I didn't want to take all of your night and go for a whole hour. There was some meaningful stuff to talk about. And for the most part, we have hit those things. But let's see what James says here. It's the Bengals defense that's their problem this year. If the offense can expose that defense and get a few turnovers, Broncos can win that game. Broncos country, MHH. I agree with that. This is honestly, bro, a fire. You got to fight fire with fire. You not only have to, with the return of Riley Moss, hope that your defense rubber bands back into the form it had been in going into week 12 when they lost Riley. But Bo Nix and Sean Payton got to come correct. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not saying come in and do Jameis throwing 497 and, 4 touchdowns minus the interceptions. What I'm saying is you got to have a competent and effective and proficient offensive showing. And it actually starts with the run game. We went over this the other night, but let me just remind you guys. Or no, we're going to go over this tomorrow night. So I'll just hint at a few things. This Bengals defense is 28th in yards, okay? Against the run, they're 21st. So this is your opportunity. Now look, all bets are off when it comes to something to play for. This isn't like week 6 where sometimes you get the feeling kind of middling teams start mailing it in a little bit, trying to conserve and save their energy a little. These type of things happen. Now you're down into the clutch. The chips are down. So even though it's a statistically 21st ranked rushing defense that the Bengals field, you're going to feel you're going to go into the teeth of something that's probably more like feels like the number 11, number 12 in terms of what they're capable of. Okay. But it's a vulnerability, and the Broncos have to be able to exploit that. They got to stay in this is a Sean Payton thing. We'll sing it till the cows come home, but Sean Payton has got to stay committed to the ground game. And you know what? If it's not working early and you get 2 yards on first, you get, 2 yards on second, That 3rd and 6, Bo Nix, you got to convert, dude. Sean Payton, you have got to convert. One of the keys to beating Joe Burrow is keeping his ass on the sideline. Pardon my French. Okay, has to happen. Because you want to know about offense? The Bengals are 10th in yards, 6th in scoring, and 1st in passing. Okay, so yeah, we know the model, James. Can you execute it? That's the question. That's the question. Can you execute it? But there is no doubt, guys. I got a couple last things I'm going to get to, including something I have to get to gladly. But the Broncos are going to be underdogs in this game. You go, oh, wait a minute, 7-6 versus a 9-win team. They will be underdogs. And speaking of underdog, guys, is the place to play if you're a sports fan and you're looking to win money while watching these awesome sports we all love. Join myself and over 5 million fans who are already playing on Underdog. You got the pick'em game, winning money by making entries with your favorite players. You look at Bo Nix. All you got to do is decide, is it going to be higher or lower on a stat line? Say it's 237.5 yards. You're going to take that he's going to pass for higher than that against the Bengals or lower? What if it's, say, 1.5 touchdowns? You're going to take the higher, you're going to take the lower. It's kind of like an over-under, only it's just higher or lower. With their champs game, you could win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on player stats. It's not just passing and touchdown yardage, but interceptions, stuff like there's so many different options. And every dog deserves a second chance. With Underdog Rescues, you can get your money back, receive a promo if any early injury causes your entry to lose. So download the Underdog app today. I just said download. Download the Underdog app today. Use our code MHuddle to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Again, download the Underdog app today. Use our code MHuddle to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Every player, every touchdown. Just select higher or lower on Underdog. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus, Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus, Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. All right. It is a lot of fun, guys, by the way. You know, it is a lot of fun. I highly, highly recommend Underdog Fantasy. It's a lot of fun. Okay, let me see where we're at here. Hey, you got the Ronk giving Scott Merry Christmas, Scott, and your family. He appreciates that, brother. The Ronk also says the Bengals, Cincinnati Bengals has Kansas City Chiefs number in the playoffs. Chiefs don't want the Bengals in the playoffs. Do they really, though? I mean, they beat them one time to go to the title or to go to the Super Bowl. I don't know. I hear that, but I don't think it's keeping the Chiefs up at night for whatever it's worth. And yeah, Robot, run game needs to show up. Bo needs to run as well. Chew the clock, control the clock. That's what I'm talking about. You know, if you're getting the 2 and 3 yards in a cloud of dust on first and second down from the run game that you are staying committed to, and you're getting 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. Hey, Bo, if it's not there, you know, when you're doing your pre-snap reads, part of that calculation of what you're seeing has to be, where's the rush coming from and where can I perhaps expect a little lane to open up where I can escape and pick up the yardage with my feet. Some of that you don't know till the ball's snapped, right? But try to think of it, because I feel like his legs have been an underutilized weapon for about the last month of Broncos football, basically coming out of the bye. Since they come out of the bye, it's kind of, and maybe even you could argue the Cleveland game, but it's been an underutilized facet. So I'm there with you, Robot. Phil says Wallace was classy, speaking to the public. Yeah, he's a classy guy, and he's resilient. You know, former undrafted guy. Broncos want him back, even if he wasn't coming back or if he lands somewhere else. He's a tenacious fighter. He'll find his way. That was a setback. Unfortunately for him, getting torched by Jerry Jeudy and all. It's one thing to give up a big play, right? It's another thing to basically be the reason a guy comes into his old house and sets a record for the most receiving yardage ever for a player going against his former team. Like, when you're on the wrong end of history as a team, maybe heads don't roll, right? You think back to the Dolphins game last year. You're like, fire VJ, and heads didn't roll. But when it's an individual and it's a low-cost veteran free agent that you signed a few months prior, it's a little bit easier to, usher the scapegoat out center stage and do away with them, right? That's kind of the deal. But guys, listen, this has been a lot of fun. I'm actually surprised the number of people have been hanging out with us. Sounds like you are as nerdy about this whole thing. I'm not just talking Broncos, but the conversation as I am. So I appreciate all of you being with us. I'm just taking one last little glance through here. Yeah, Jamie Weisner. Do we make the playoffs with the win on Saturday, right? Yes. A single win without any regard whatsoever to getting help elsewhere, other teams. None of that matters. Just get a win. All you need is one win of these last two, and you're in like Flynn. Okay. Money more. Do you know who the Chiefs won't be resting? Reed and Spagnuolo. Exactly. They'll still be a formidable challenge. That's no doubt. That's no doubt. Thank you, Dylan, for the reminder here, guys. Make sure you hit the like button, share on all platforms, subscribe if you haven't already. That's a very timely reminder. Likes, we're always asking you to like the video. And it is, as we say, it's a small thing you can do to help us out in a big, bad way. We expect that you're subscribed, even though our analytics say something like 35% of people who watch our videos aren't subscribed. So if you're not, come on, just subscribe. But the ultimate testimonial for us is when I see people sharing our live stream episodes, YouTube, Facebook, on their social media. To me, that's the ultimate rubber stamp, and gives me a lot of pride when I see that. So thanks for those who do. I usually catch them, or someone brings them to my attention. So thank you, guys. That's why they told me about the Chargers game, which the Broncos blew after such a first half. I don't know, some inner chat conversation. Hatch Winnick, what up, dude? Good to see you. Merry Christmas to everybody, guys. Hey, just a few reminders here. You know how to find us on X. You know how to find us on Facebook. All right, but big deal here is need you guys to follow us on Instagram. We have been working a lot harder to provide fun, unique content and coverage on the Broncos on our Instagram channel, and it's been growing, but we need even more of you. I mean, there's 23,000 on YouTube? I don't know. And then there's like 125,000 of you on Facebook. We need you to go follow on Instagram, at @mile_high_huddle. Just search Mile High Huddle, you'll find us. But that's the actual handle, because we're doing a lot of fun stuff there. And I got to tell you, up until I started doing my whole band thing again, where like for bands and music, like everything lives on Instagram and TikTok. It's a little bit different than what we do on the sports grind. But I had to kind of get familiar with Instagram. Up to that point, I hadn't really cared that much about it. And after I did start using it more and try to get the lay of the land, it's pretty fun. I actually have a lot of fun on Instagram, especially with reels, laughing all the time. I'm sending my wife and my friends, and Scott can attest, just stupid things I come across on reels. So Instagram can be fun. And so we're putting a lot more time and energy into it. End of sermon. Go follow us on Instagram. And other than that, guys, I'm gonna end the sermon here officially. Subscribe, like, share. Love you guys. We have a few more episodes, in fact, for the calendar year 2024. Zach and I will be on tomorrow night. Then probably, well, for sure Saturday night after the game. Sunday, Monday. Yeah, so we've got a few more episodes. We'll be seeing each other before the new year, but we're almost there. We're only less than a week away from 2025. So weird. Time is a flat circle. All right, guys. Thanks for spending some time with me. I even ended up going 45 minutes, surprising even myself because I love you guys. I have fun. And this is good. This is good Breaking Bad news. I'm glad to hear it. Thank you, pal. I'm subscribed, he says. Here they say. Thank you. Um, and Pearl, once again, let's keep Pearl's family, pardon me, in our thoughts and prayers with her husband breaking 4 ribs. That's no fun. But we love you too, my friend. And Bill Carson, come on, dog. I'm just look in the interest of the season. I'm just going to put you in timeout. I'm not going to ban you. All right. Love you. Appreciate you spending time with me on Christmas. See you tomorrow with Zach, myself, and Mr. Producer. For Scott, for Zach, I'm Chad. Go Broncos.